Hello and welcome back to Clutch versus Counter Logic Gaming. As we get ready for Game 2, let us know what you think about the LCS. You can take our survey to let us know your thoughts and get a chance to win an official LCS chair. You can learn more at riot.com/LCSfans. But Jat, Game 2 is on the horizon. Clutch have selected blue side. And CLG need to change something after that first game.
Yeah, a recap for those of you just catching this series now. CLG was absolutely demolished in Game 1. 14 kills to 0. And coming into this game, they will be switching sides. So the reason that both teams typically want to pick blue side in the series is if we look at what you want to deny from Clutch Gaming. So CLG on blue side banned Rumble, Qiyana, Akali. They want to ban those champions this game, but also Yuumi seems like a 100% red side ban every game. So unless you're willing to give over Yuumi, you're giving them either the Rumble, the Qiyana, or the Akali, which again will favor the blue side in this matchup.
Well, we'll see what happens here in our next draft. Expecting changes from at least the CLG camp.
Yeah, you're not expecting them to go with Sona Kench again. You're looking for CLG to go with something more around bot side dominance, whether that is a pushing mid laner who is able to roam bottom lane. What it is more likely is just a strong 2v2.
Well, draft is going to kick off. Corki once again banned by Clutch. CLG at least get the Rumble ban in here for phase number 1. But again, how many bans like this can they afford to make when they have to at least consider banning Yuumi on this side? There is the Yuumi ban from CLG we expected, and curiously an Ahri ban from Clutch.
Yeah, I mean, Ahri is what PoE ended up pulling out in Game 5 of their series and had a fair bit of success with. But yeah, it does show that Clutch Gaming has a little bit of flexibility with what they can ban on blue side. And as you can see, the Qiyana is the ban that was actually dropped.
All right, so Akali ban, Skarner open first picked, and Clutch, they're on the Scorpion train.
Yeah, and just because it's not banned in the Qiyana doesn't mean it has to be first picked. What'll be really interesting to me is whether or not CLG is willing to play the Qiyana. Because PoE has won with it, did not win with it during the third place match. He was, though, the first player to get Qiyana banned against him in the LCS. So he has succeeded with it in scrims against other teams. He just hasn't looked great with it on stage. I expect the Qiyana to come through at some point in this draft phase. It's just a matter of when, and more likely to be on the side of Clutch. Xayah Rakan is up, so I think CLG should just take it here.
It seems like they're talking about whatever the second pick. I really do like the Xayah. I think it is probably the best AD on this patch and should be highly contested. If Clutch are going to give it away, you should take it, but they do not grab the Rakan. Instead, it is comfort for Wiggily on Sejuani.
I think this is because they want to go Xayah Thresh, just to get Biofrost on Thresh. I don't even know if the Rakan needs to be taken away here from Clutch. If they actually wanted to go with, say, a Caitlyn Morgana, that would be pretty devastating. But instead, they go with another fairly popular lane in Kai'Sa Rakan. It's good scaling, but it is dicey to get through the laning phase.
Yeah, they've played a lot of this, and Vulcan had a good Rakan game last time, so clearly feeling it on the champion. Kai'Sa, though, for Cody, is knocked down to still a very strong marksman, as you mentioned. So this is going to get curious, because now, at least, you can afford to ban Qiyana in phase 2.
Yeah, I think that's what they probably just do.
I have to think so. But do take a support here if you want something like the Thresh for Bio. They've already shown it to you. They actually go Alistar here.
Huh.
Not really the support we expected from Biofrost.
Definitely not. But what it does do is it gives you a higher level of reliability in your initiation. And seeing as they had 0 kills in the first game, I think that could be something they talked about backstage. It's not even necessarily an amazing 2v2, but it is really good gank support. So I would expect CLG to go for some type of counter pick mid lane so they can get wave pressure and then send 3 and 4 people down bottom lane fairly early.
Well, Cassio banned away from Huni. That's kind of the other, big 3 Huni champion we know about. I mean, Gangplank also something to consider. Maybe CLG feel like they have to pick or ban it here. They'll actually ban Syndra, something Damonte has played a few times already this postseason. And there's Orianna, so Clutch banning a mage of their own.
Man, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bans thrown at PowerOfEvil from Clutch Gaming, on top of 3 other potential mid laners being banned by CLG. So even if he locks in the Xerath here, that would be the 9th mid laner of his pool just based off of the ban phase right now. He's He's definitely...
Do you blind this?
I mean, Qiyana's up. If he is a Qiyana player, you would think that this would be a time to play Qiyana and dive bottom lane.
Yeah. Certainly if you want Qiyana, you pick it there. But they take Jayce instead. Likely for Ruin, it's one of his most played champions. In fact, it is his most played champion on the split.
And then they're hoping that the Jayce scares Huni off of Gangplank, because Gangplank is still up, and Huni is one of the best Gangplanks I've seen. So what are they going to end up doing here?
Sylas up. Decent blind. I'll take it there.
Yeah.
And I imagine whatever's coming next is Huni's champion. Does he just feel like he can still play GP? No, I don't know if he wants to play in this kind of matchup, so is he going to show something else? Maybe see him push a little here, but Huni, I think, when he's feeling confident, feels he can play just about anything. So
yeah,
I don't think he's feeling too pressured.
If he's feeling confident, feels like he can play Gangplank into anything. But also Irelia is just up and available in all of these drafts. So that in itself is surprising.
I mean, I don't know if CLG have Irelia players. I did quickly check Ruin. He does not have an Irelia play this go-around, and I cannot remember it being one of PowerOfEvil's champions, whereas it's tied for Damonte's most played, and Huni is clearly showing he can play it as well. So the solo lane picks, despite both teams having very strong solo laners, feel like very mismatched, and PowerOfEvil, this is a classic for him, but push to Ziggs here in mid.
He is definitely pushed to Ziggs, but in this situation, I don't mind it. Look at the short ranges on Clutch. It is a bunch of people who want to dive in. It is actually really hard to dive in through a Ziggs. You don't see it that often because there are so many other champions that can give you anti-dive or wave clear with a little bit more versatility. But I don't think Ziggs is bad in this situation after PowerOfEvil gets pushed down to the depths of his champion pool.
And I'll double check. I don't believe he has played it this split, but he has certainly played it in NA in the past. So something he is known for, something he is comfortable on. Not going to speculate on the Sylas vs. Ziggs matchup there in mid.
Well, it does give Sylas a good ultimate to steal, that's for sure. And the Rise Hovers did not, in terms of what he can do to kill the other guy with it. So this is definitely some interesting stuff being done by CLG in Game 2.
We did expect the drafts to evolve in a very curious manner, because Game 1 gave us so much to go off of, and I think we're going to continue to see, players champions get banned out, people going back to all the comfort picks for themselves, maybe even some new picks as well, but if you're CLG, you have to refocus, try and get the scoreboard back to even, and make it yet another series. These two teams have battled so much in these last month or so.
Yeah, going all the way back to before playoffs, it seemed like Clutch was the team that was the bar of making the playoffs. They beat everyone who didn't make playoffs. They were 8-0 against them, and then they were actually 1-9 against playoff teams. But that all changed at the start of the playoffs. Clutch dispatched TSM, who will actually await the winner of this based off of championship points. Clutch took Team Liquid to all 5 games, and then they also technically took CLG to all 5 games too, even if they got reverse swept.
Absolutely did.
Clutch has definitely been on an upward trajectory, but CLG was the victorious team in that series, so looking to bounce back in this one as well.
All right, well, it's only getting better, but we'll have to delay that for a moment. We have Weldon standing by for a sideline report.
Thanks, guys. Weldon, just need to ask, what went wrong for CLG in Game 1? Because that was a pretty crushing defeat.
Yeah, I think we made a really big mistake at Herald with the fight. Like, we had a really good setup, and then the engage just all didn't get layered together. And after that, we were playing defense, and it was kind of all in Clutch's hand, and yeah, they did a good job closing it out.
And then one thing that I was curious about, why was Biofrost the one who was put onto Sona rather than vice versa with Stixxay?
So Stixxay is a very optimistic guy, and we found out his Tom Kench ultis are very optimistic, which is a lot better for like crazy plays. And so that's been working out really well for us for the last few weeks.
And a few weeks ago in Detroit, CLG did pull off that reverse sweep against Clutch Gaming. So after this first rough Game 1, how's the team doing mentally?
I think mentally, we're not really been challenged after the C9 match. It's more about learning strategically. So we just have to bank on the fact that we're learning so much every single game against them and roll that into what we are drafting and how we're playing.
Well, thank you and best of luck. Back to you guys.
Well, thank you, Ovely, and good to hear from Weldon. Damonte already in there in mid lane. PowerOfEvil going to be tough to fend off Sylas with Glacial Augment.
Oh, yeah. That's a thing on Ziggs as well. I mean, that just, to me, says he wants a little bit more self-peel, so he'll be going for GLP on Ziggs. It's something that has a little bit of popularity on picks like, say, Ahri or Morgana, because it does set up your skill shots. So when he does complete the Hextech GOP, expect PowerOfEvil to use that into his Qs and the rest of the Ziggs skill shots.
And hopefully my memory isn't failing me. I believe that is Ingenious Hunter as one of his secondary runes.
Yeah, that's because it also works on active item cooldowns. So he will definitely be going this build. That's basically the standard for the Glacial Augment builds. You just don't see them often in LCS.
Yeah, well, PowerOfEvil never wanted to shy away from something a little unconventional. We'll see how his lane works out in a moment. Damonte, though, with a very slight early CS lead as Lira cruises through the Wolves. Looks like both junglers are actually on track to meet in top lane. Ruin this go-round having a much more comfortable time here on the Jayce. Ooh, Damonte getting low. Kingslayer. Some do-si-do as Damonte dances out from under the bombs.
Good old Sylas corrupting potions, wave clear early, wave priority, scuttle crab control. Going to be able to reset that wave pretty easily as he will walk back into lane with Dorn's Ring and more pots.
And Cody and Vulcan still doing their thing here, getting aggressive and pushing in. I feel like this is the symptom of all Alistar lanes. Can just be tough sometimes to really get aggressive. Looks like the CS is nice and even, so Stixxay and Bio not too concerned. And this will be a very different, I expect much calmer 2v2 experience than the last time they had in game number 1 with the Sona.
Yeah, and we do have to point out that CLG could have had Xayah Rakan. They just opted for the Alistar instead. Xayah Rakan would likely have the shove right now, so we'll have to see if the Alistar gives them any other benefits throughout the rest of the game, whether that's early roaming or more reliable gank assist, because so far they've really just been getting pushed into the turret by a Xayah.
Ruin getting low on mana, but trying to push the last of this wave in and harass Huni. Is gonna channel that recall, is on a ward, so Huni knows now that he's actually stopped. Wiggily was coming up to cover as well, but Huni not gonna fall into this trap here that Ruin's trying to set potentially.
Yeah, Ruin really doesn't even have kill pressure from that trap, but was probably just hoping to get a wave shoved in more expediently towards that turret.
Lira takes right side scuttle, recovering there for the bottom half of the map, and now it's his time to recall as Wiggily seems to have done the same. These again are somewhat level 6 reliant junglers. There's a good chunk there under Damonte through the minefield. He goes, PowerOfEvil! Short fuse, not enough to bomb. Oh, good dodge by Damonte. He gets out of there.
Whew. I mean, double Dorn's Ring, early power spike by PowerOfEvil. Also got a slow on him from the Glacial Augment auto attacks. Nice job early by PoE up into Damonte's Sylas.
Damonte staying, no, he's out of potion charges. But he'd get enough back from Time Warp Tonic, so he's now going to have to take a recall. Freddy with the teleport as well, hasn't used it. PowerOfEvil has used his. So Damonte should be able to even things back up nice and quickly. Is going to TP back to lane with an old Magic Mantle. And Stixxay and Biofrost. Perhaps faking a recall, maybe thinking about it, but not going back to base just yet.
Yeah, what you're seeing here in the mid lane, though, is one of the reasons that Sylas is pickable into so many different mid lanes. This is a matchup where he has been getting consistently out-traded by the Ziggs, but you can see after he recalled, he teleported back so quickly, and then because all of his spells give him AoE auto attack resets, he can so quickly get that wave back into PoE's turret. So that is a lane with a lot of other champions where having to take 2 recalls and burn your TP before level 6 would put you at a tempo disadvantage. On Sylas, that's not the case. So he actually has the level advantage and the wave advantage here on PoE, even though he lost most trades.
Oh, he can steal Sedge ult to Damonte is now 6. CG look to start up this Ocean Drake for themselves. Steals Ali's ult instead. But I guess that was the nearest one he had, but Clutch have more than enough power from Damonte's surprisingly high tempo TP play.
Yeah, he just got wave priority. PoE used his teleport for double Dorns instead of walking back to the lane the first time like Damonte did, and then Damonte used that teleport advantage to essentially win lane. If like that is actually the small margins that you can quote win a lane on, and the payoff was the early Drake.
And a good one at that with the Ocean there for Clutch, so already off to a good start here. Huni and Ruin continuing to go back and forth, but Huni's kept this lane afloat despite all of Jayce's good early pressure. Some early tab-eye there for Huni. Knows he needs to stay safe. Jayce always a threat. Good stun though, but Huni just harassing Ruin here. Knows he doesn't need to do too much in the 1v1.
Yeah, and the fact that he's up on CS as well as an accomplishment early on in the Jayce, if we compare what's happening here with what happens in the regular season. We're going to have to come back to that because they're going for Ruin.
Ulti there for Huni, good knockback. Oh, the stun still latches. Lira with the impale, and that's first blood for Huni.
Nice gank there by Lira, level 6 Predator with Huni's all in. He actually gets the flash by himself, which allows Lira to get the kill. That lane gets really dangerous for Jayce in the future. Now Biofrost trying to get some river control.
Does get the Spire. PowerOfEvil knocking down this control ward here, and we'll move in with Bio to take down this other one as well. So Clutch losing some vision here on the bottom half of the map. Biofrost going to get some deep wards of his own as Stixxay left to farm the rest of these camps. This was so well executed by Clutch.
Yeah, both are level 6, but the Irelia all in at level 6 is quite strong. The instant that Skarner would be seen on a ward, if it was there, is when Huni goes for the all-in onto Ruin. Even though there wasn't a ward, the timing was still lined up. And then since Huni gets enough stuns and slows, Lira's able to flash in for the ultimate.
Just well played there by Clutch. First blood, always nice to grab as Wiggily going to take a crab of his own here. Now 6 himself. That wasn't enough XP to get over the line and have access to his own ultimate, but it does feel like for all the farming these junglers have been doing in these first 2 games, Lira at least making an impact. Yeah, usually with these first few Skarner ultis. So Wiggily has been notably absent in these early games.
I mean, amazingly, Skarner's been Lira's best champion for about 2 years now. It's just...
From Lee Sin
yeah,
to Skarner.
It's strange, but at level 6, he finds the good looks, and it's what a lot of other Skarners aren't able to do. Either teams are too aggressive before level 6 and get punished by the enemy jungler, or their level 6 looks aren't efficient. I mean, just pay attention to Lira here. He's going to get his ultimate back up again, and he's going to go use it again. He's very efficient with the timing of this thing. They know it's flashless on Ruin. They have control in here. If Huni gets the stun, Ruin's dead.
No stun?
He doesn't get the stun.
No death.
Ruin's alive. But it would have been extremely efficient, was the point.
Yeah, coming back up. Actually up in 1 second. Might still go for it here. Oh, spotted. Just barely, I believe. Yep, can see some pings there for CLG, so they know. Lira knows they know, so he's back to the blue buff. No need to waste any time.
Okay, so the game's still overall relatively close, only 600 gold. But the point I was getting into before Lira got first blood was how this looks different than the regular season. In the regular season, CLG had the best Drake control in the league, and that was often because of bot lane priority and because PoE would pick scaling wave clear mids. So they'd have bot priority, they'd have the push mid lane, and Wiggily could go just take the dragon. That didn't happen in this game. Part of it comes from draft and part of it comes from how they played. The fact that they didn't take Rakan and instead took Alistar means they didn't have bot priority. And then actually just poor TP usage by PoE meant they didn't have it in the mid lane. But since that was such a core part of their strategy during the regular season, you do wonder how they will win when they're not playing to that style, since that is really what got them here, that style.
Huni might not know it, but I think he was lucky to not hit that stun.
Yeah.
One of those situations where his miss actually helps out. Everyone's got to sell it a little better, walk in there. Oh, true. What have I done? All right, Rift Herald though getting started at 10 minutes in. This is not a new play.
Yeah, 10 or 11 minutes. CLG has seen this enough times that everyone is rotating towards here. The bot lane is just smacking each other but the minions because everyone is coming to this Rift Herald for the fight.
Yep, Damonte also ready to hijack maybe Wiggly's ultimate. Always a good one to grab. Don't think Alistar is ready for another round of ulti stealing.
So in the pregame interview, Weldon said game 1 went awry at the Rift Herald. Now they're going for Huni. They're going to get him.
Yep, they are going to indeed. A 1v3 Huni can't get out of there. No flash, good ulti, but not enough as Ruin able to get CLG on the scoreboard for the first time this series. Ulti there onto Lira, gonna get burnt. Damonte gonna steal the Sejuani himself. Ruin low, but not dead just yet. Cody gonna be followed there by Biofrost after the flash. They're gonna try and get him down. Feather's enough. Featherstorm is gonna be used for an execute almost. But now the rest of Clutch are rotating in. Ruin cannot stay.
Recall.
But he almost gets knocked back. Damonte grabs the first kill. Vulcan now gonna chase the rest of them. Vulcan gets the first kill. Biofrost goes down as well, and CLG thought they'd set it up so well, but Clutch strike back.
What was that recall by Ruin? You just go back to his turret and he would be completely fine. But even though CLG gets the jump on Huni top lane and effectively wins the trade, they still lose the extended trade. So yes, they make a good play at the start. They sneak off the Rift Herald into a control ward and Biofrost is able to get the jump on Huni. But then We don't even really see what happens with the rest of it as they lose the fight, and now it continues with Damonte up top.
2v2, his PowerOfEvil. Lira actually here as well. Clutch, they just answer so quickly. Wiggily is going to be killed by Damonte. No, he's forced to flash out. Stixxay here, flashes over the wall. He's feeling hot and does get the kill on Damonte, but it is a trade. PowerOfEvil sacrifice to Huni.
Yeah, and that's one of those times where he landed the skill shot and it cost him his life. He did not need to turret dive Wiggily. They ended up trading flashes, but it put Damonte into a position where he would die. Again, the Rift Herald does continue to be a battlefield. People haven't been bot lane in 2.5 minutes. And the minions are just dying to each other because there is so much importance being put on the Rift Herald. But now that it is almost 13 minutes and the plates wouldn't be able to be taken by the Rift Herald, Clutch has moved on. They're back towards the Drake and the bottom lane minions.
Yeah, Damonte actually TP'd down here, so Clutch, I think, showing their commitment here to this Mountain Drake now. Maybe just happy to give the Rift Herald away. We can also see Wiggily, and they may have spotted him just from the vision they had. CLG aren't really ready to take the Herald either.
Yeah.
With the jungler not being on the top side of the map. So Lira and Damonte team up for this. Wiggily maybe can find an angle for a steal, but not sure it's advised.
CLG can make it. They have PoE's ultimate as well, so Clutch absolutely has to give this up now.
Huni no TP, so yep, man advantage now back in favor of CLG, so that will be a Mountain Drake for them. And I wonder if Battle Rift Herald continues. Been a lot of dynamic lane movement in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, well, in getting that Drake, CLG did lose wave pressure. So it is a Mountain Drake, which would be very good for Ziggs, especially in the late game. Stixxay's got to watch out, though.
Vulcan gonna get the knock up. Stixxay has his ulti. Looks to turn the feathers back around, but doesn't quite latch onto
TP.
Vulcan. CLG playing much more higher pace this go-round. Vulcan gonna be the target. Dashes back there to Huni. Stun lands only onto Ruin. Wiggily, the ulti nails it! And Vulcan gonna go down. There's a Ziggs ult as well, chasing in. Biofrost gonna look for it. Slow stun down. Huni gonna try and dance out of the way, but he's got no hope. 1v5 even. Huni will go down to PowerOfEvil.
CLG moving around as a unit here, and the teleport is really what comes in big. All the while, though, Clutch was getting that Rift Herald, and they're gonna look to beat CLG to first turret.
PowerOfEvil, no ulti, can't really quickly clear the wave. Gonna get the rest of the creeps. And Herald will go down, so good response from CLG. Not enough from Clutch to knock down the mid outer turret.
And Stixxay respects the missing members of Clutch Gaming. I feel like he could have gotten a lot more damage down onto that turret. But watching this play, as soon as Vulcan shows on a Stixxay and they know that Huni's between the turret, they think, hey, we can teleport here. We just saw Kai'Sa mid. We know Kai'Sa has no teleport. It's time for a numbers advantage. And finally, Wiggily lands a nice Sej ultimate onto Vulcan, who had already used all of his dashes. And then since Huni was already flashless, the rest of the cavalry arrives to clean him up.
Nice look there for CLG. I think finally playing maybe a bit more at Clutch's pace. With 10 kills in 15 minutes this go-round, and for once, not all of them belong to Clutch Gaming.
The first 5 kills of the series for CLG.
All right, still a first tower up for grabs as well. The plates have, of course, dropped off, so no more extra money there to collect, but tower looking weak here on the CLG side. Cody gets that wave pushed in. Mid low at least from the Rift Tower play from Clutch. That may be the one they want the most, but can be tough to crack through Ziggs, especially with a blue buff.
Yeah, I'm going to be really interested to see how the lane assignments play out and how used to playing Ziggs in competitive CLG is, because in most competitive games, with the solo laners you see, around 15 or 20 minutes, you see the solo laners move to the top and bottom lane, and the AD carry goes mid. However, with Ziggs, he's so good at holding mid lane, and also weak to being jumped on top of, you want to keep the Ziggs mid lane, which pushes your bot lanes to the side. So currently, Clutch is matching that rather than trying to impose their AD carry against Ziggs. I think Ziggs right now is the one who's able to dictate it because he has blue buff and because he can consistently clear waves. So even if Clutch put 2 or 3 people mid lane, they still might not break the turret. But this is a little bit different than what is standard. It's just something I wanted to point out.
Yeah, we can see PowerOfEvil even just harassing Damonte there. Just pops the GLP and throws all the abilities at him. You can see Stixxay also a very different start to this game. Up almost 1,000 gold on Cody, and Cody hasn't been having a particularly bad game this go-around either. Has died though, which is somewhat unusual for him. But again, a much closer set so far as teams kind of looking for that next little window here in the mid game. You always want to attack an open space of the map. To do that, need to knock down a turret usually is step number one.
Yeah, Huni though putting a lot of pressure onto Ruin.
Nice dodge there from Ruin. Doesn't really want to walk through the wall, just forced a flash. Lira looking for the dive. Clear the wave. He can't do it in time. Impale gonna land. Ruin tries to create some space. Now actually, the wave is there. Ruin maybe almost got Lira, but the wave is here as well. He's got to keep it away from the turret as they're pulling the wave. Impale lands. Ruin gonna try and get it. He does grab the kill. But Huni able to get it, and he likely grabbed the turret as well. So CLG up to the top lane.
Oh man, I gotta say, well played by Ruin. The game he played keeping the minion wave away. You could see what Clutch wanted to do. They just said, wait for the minions to crash and then we will dive. And Lira was just trying to keep Ruin busy. Meanwhile, he gets killed because of it. There's the augment though onto Damonte.
Might be a kill. Ulti from Wiggily does land this slow only. Damonte counter ulti after he hijacks.
Oh, such a slippery champion there. Being able to dash away and then steal the Sej ultimate. Good look by CLG trying to collapse down mid lane after taking the top lane turret. So even though I have some questions around CLG not going for Xayah Rakan, do like the way they're playing here in game 2 much more than I did in game 1.
And now PowerOfEvil kind of doing something you mentioned earlier, trying to get some pressure back here with the TP. Goes back by double need to see large rods for the upcoming death cap. And Ziggs can punch down a turret.
Yeah.
But CG are here. They know they can't counter push. Wiggily no ulti, but wants to go in with the Huni. Vulcan finds a 3-man charm. Cody in there with the killer instinct as Huni dives in onto Ruin, but gets slapped back and takes a ton of damage through his trouble. There is a big fight brewing for this Infernal Drake.
Vulcan was ready, but the rest of his team wasn't. Damonte and Huni weren't ready to follow in on that one, so that's actually a lot burned by Vulcan. Flash and ultimate as CLG starts up this Infernal Drake. Here comes the flank, though.
Pincer here from Clutch. Here's Huni. Pretty with the ulti. Finds it. Massive ult. As Ruin going to go down. Clutch going to take over the fight. Biofrost looking to fall as Stixxay trying to kite away from Huni. Finds a fight for Huni. Just fused straight onto his noggin. And that's going to be Drake and the 3 kills for Clutch Gaming.
What a huge fight win by Clutch, even though Lira goes down. And it was all because of the Irelia TP in from Huni. We mentioned they didn't have the Rakan engage, but that actually didn't matter in that fight. I want to see if Damonte ended up having a stolen ult as well somewhere in here, because it looked like they just layered CC down. So there's a flash ult from the Irelia. Ziggs is off on the flank, unable to really get that much involved. And yeah, it really just feels like the Irelia ultimate hit basically everyone, and that was enough of a head start for Clutch Gaming to clean up the fight.
Yeah, CLG were trying to do it, you know, the simple way, get PowerOfEvil pushing the lane back, get his ulti back off cooldown and rotate it down. The Clutch did not give them the time they were looking for, and Huni goes off in that fight. Almost 3.5k damage to champions with a beautiful looking flank.
That is, that's more than a champion's worth of damage, that's for sure. That's about 2 champions worth of damage at this stage in the game.
And 5-2-2, 450 extra gold, the bounty for Huni if you can grab him. And Triforce Death Dance once again already completed here. One of the first players on his team to 2 major items.
And Damonte actually stole Biofrost's Alistar ultimate in that fight. That's one of the favorites for Sylas's, especially if you're going to have these brawly fights, since he has so much health, self-healing. Also just giving him the straight-up damage reduction from the Alistar ulti is pretty nice.
Yeah, it kind of has to be the other frontliner. Lira's kind of the only one running tank duty apart from that. So always a nice one to try and grab. It's tough to give Sylas 5 bad ults to steal, to be fair, but Damonte doing well there as Huni takes down the Scuttle Crab and looking to continue that pressure. Some towers have fallen, but it's a trade on either side as teams are still looking to try and knock down mid. Huni with an ulti, but has to get out this time. Oh no, back in the turn, hops on a PowerOfEvil! It just goes off on him! He's gonna go into stasis. I think Clutch can clean it up. Here comes Vulcan, zooms in with a quickness. Huni with a double and a well-deserved triple on the menu as Huni's able to collect it. Damonte steals the Feather Storm as they dive the mid lane turret and take it out. Clutch Gaming just doing everything right.
Shades of 2016 Huni in that play, Pastry Time. He is popping off this game again with this Death's Dance Irelia. It almost seems like it's more damage than CLG is expecting, because he went in 1v3 at the start of that fight before the rest of the team showed up. And then once he got back up, bonus, 2 more kills. Just an amazing play there by Huni.
And a Baron-shaped cherry on top of the sundae at the end of it all, as Clutch do manage to take the objective, but let's watch this again. It looked like a retreating Irelia ult, and
So-
I was wrong.
He has Death's Dance, which is going to make him more resistant to burst. He lands the ult, which means he can get Q resets. So he resets off Wiggily, goes straight to PoE, W's resets again, and that's enough damage to kill him. Then Lira, who had kind of been waiting in the brush, thinking, hey, if they chase in, maybe we'll turn, realizes that Huni can turn by himself the whole time, and then he runs in too, and they just clean up.
Yep, clean up, get the Baron, and it's Clutch firmly back in the driver's seat this game. About 6,500 gold ahead, looking to do much more damage in the gold department with this push. And at this point, with GA now finished, nobody can stop Huni 1v1.
Yeah. Player gold entire game, 12,000 gold onto Huni at 22 minutes. That's absurd.
I mean, impressive to be the first player to 10K. He's the first to 12 before anyone else is even at the 10 mark. Cody gonna knock down the top outer turret. Huni 1v2.
Let's see. I mean, it could
better
be
odds than
a
last
1v3 or 1v4.
All right,
Maybe he
Biofrost
dies.
kicks him in. PowerOfEvil the next one up. It's basically the same story. Ulti already burnt there, quickly with the ultimate. Still have to do a lot here. Ulti, oh, dodge.
I don't know, though.
1v4.
He does seem
gets
pretty
ignited.
strong.
Oh, he's back in. He wants to kill Wiggily. What an absolute madman. Now going to get resurrected. I think if he had run, he may have maybe made it out. But he's still going in. Dancing back around. Stixxay forced to aggressively Featherstorm as here comes Lira to save the day. Escorts President Huni out. Oh, here comes Ruin. Finally shut down. As Lira going to flash over the wall to safety, but they're losing their base, by the way.
Huni! That's the best Huni death I've seen, I feel like, in terms of things gained for his team.
And he's had a lot of bad ones, this year especially.
CLG used every single ultimate trying to kill him, and they still almost didn't get him. All right, that's one way. I mean, we saw last game, Clutch can play it slow. They'll do the 4-1. This game, they'll do the Huni 1-5, and then the rest of the team will push. But, I mean, it is actually somewhat costly. Yes, they got the inhibitor. They could have got it the standard way. It does give up an Infernal Drake, which leaves the door open for CLG to come back. That was really Huni just heat-checking how powerful he was, and turns out pretty strong.
His calculation was almost spot on, but maybe didn't expect the 5th and final champion and ultimate. As CLG actually trying to keep finding a play. Damonte steals the Sejuani ult. Wiggily does land one, but can't really do anything else, so they call off the play.
Huni thinks surely one person will defend the base while I'm side pushing the middle of the map. Nope. So he died. Oh well. Still got a little bit of Baron left for this push.
Yep, 20 seconds, not long left. Huni pushing the long lane in bottom without the Baron. So I'm not sure Clutch will be able to get too much more. I think the tier 2 in bottom lane might be one that they can reasonably grab, but PowerOfEvil rotating down now, gonna ulti the wave, and Huni not gonna stick around.
Yep, Ziggs, when you don't have Baron buff, quite the wave clear. So they might not even get this turret, but they got 2/3 of it, so it will not heal past the third. Trying to finish it off.
I mean, they have to deal with supers as well.
Yeah.
Clutch doing a nice job of recognizing the pressure they have, and Huni more than enough space to take this tier 2. Taking his time, gets it down. 7 towers to 1 now for Clutch. And not looking like they're stopping this push anytime soon. Want to stay around until maybe Baron is back up. Vulcan gets a control ward out of Ruin. Biofrost and Wiggily rotating over. Vulcan is flirting with death here.
Yeah, he has no one to jump to, but he's bluffing as if he does. So CLG isn't willing to commit. Every time he throws out a knee.
He went back in. He doesn't have his blade back
might
up.
just die
Ulti. Back in he goes. Ult there from Wiggily gonna land. Stixxay, you gotta be careful. Good Featherstorm. Flash out of the way. Huni says absolutely not. I'll use my flash to take your life as the rest of Clutch barrel down mid and force this inhibitor down. Lira impale onto Ruin. That's the kill. Here's Biofrost late to the party. Stixxay dead. They don't really have the damage here from PowerOfEvil. And Clutch still going. There's Cody in the backline, able to take the double as he takes down Biofrost.
Ooh, if Damonte landed that, they may have ended the game. He's still trying to go for it.
Goes in with a proto bow. What a snipe from Cody with the Void Seeker. And Clutch Gaming still going. It's only Wiggily that can defend.
That might be game. Cody Sun just needs to walk up to those turrets There is a respawn coming in. It looks like there's a bit of a split call between killing the inhibs versus trying to end, and now they're going for the end.
Yeah, Stixxay back up. He is the one that can maybe defend here with the Runans, with the Essence Reaver. Vulcan gonna dive in and try and buy a bit more time. Cody in. What an absolutely strong play as they take down the AD. They take down the defenders, and Clutch once again will find themselves up 2-0 over CLG.
Familiar story, Pastry Time. They've dominated the first 2 games against CLG, but here it felt like they did it in 2 completely different ways. In the first game, it was throw everything down bottom lane, right? Over and over again, get Cody Sun super fed, and then methodically close out the game. This one was pretty close until Huni popped off in a team fight, and then it was literally just all about Huni. It was him going around the map, and CLG really not having a way of managing their resources against him. Ruin was so far behind they couldn't send him. Ziggs couldn't look, so they had actually no way of dealing with Huni in the side lanes, and Clutch used it to their full advantage to win this game faster than they won game 1.
Yep, certainly showed it there, but Clutch are now 1 win away from booking a spot in the Gauntlet Final. So let's get a breakdown from the State Farm analyst desk.
A very familiar position this is for both us on the analyst desk and the 2 teams on stage. A 2-0 lead now for Clutch Gaming in the best-of-5 series, and so they'll feel very good about that position. I want to take a look at how they got their champion select. We had a lot of conversations around game 1 and possible adjustments here for game 2. Darshan, kick us off. How do you feel each of these teams did?
So I think the bot lane matchup was better, but what I didn't really like, and this is also my experience from playing with CLG too, is that they use a lot of bans for mid lane here, and you get to the 4th pick, you already banned 3 mid laners out, and you ask Ruin, hey, can you blind pick your champion with no bans against Huni? And he's been playing amazing in this whole playoff run and towards the latter end of the split. And he blind picks Jayce, and now he gets counterpicked by Irelia, and you could have flexed the Irelia. You have Sejuani, You could have went for a lot of different options, but you put Ruin on the blind pick. He gets counterpicked by Huni, and then you give the counterpick to PowerOfEvil, who plays a lot of mages and things like that, which are great. But Ziggs into Sylas, that's not really going to win you the game. I don't know about you guys, but I played a lot of competitive games, and I'm not going to look at that draft and be like, yes, we got Ziggs. It's just, I really don't like how they're using the draft, and it makes it really hard for Ruin to do well.
I know you're going to remember this, but do you remember the days in Dig where we had to rely on Ziggs because Ziggs was, we have no way of controlling mid, so Ziggs is going to give us enough wave clear to buy enough time to find a way to come back, or hopefully the enemy team makes a mistake. Right. It's not an assertive, let's win now pick.
And it's not even the way the game is necessarily played anymore, right?
Yes.
Like at one point in time, that was maybe the proper thing to do to extend the game, but games don't go that long very often anymore. There've been a couple long ones. And so, yeah, Ziggs, it leaves you wanting so much more when that pick comes in at the end and could have been utilized in such better fashion.
Well, and there's just a number of the red side advantages they're not using properly. We're talking about the Xayah Rakan being very important. Clutch shows that they're not scared to split it up, the way CLG was scared to split it up, and they took the Sona Tahm Kench. Here they're like, yeah, we'll take Xayah and Rakan, and you play Alistar into it because you don't play Leona, the harder counter, and you don't want to play Morgana without a range advantage on your ADC necessarily. And so there's just nothing that they got as an advantage in the bot lane necessarily.
Nope.
And then they don't necessarily get an advantage in the mid lane. They blind pick the top lane, and this is the second game in a row where you're like, what was your strat? Like, what's your lane you're playing through here?
And then guess who pops off, right?
Huni, yeah. And you can't win like that as CLG. You can't say let's hope that we have Ziggs. Let's scale it to 40 minutes. We got Ziggs Sejuani. You're gonna lose the game before 40 minutes, guys.
Right. You got a Jayce in the game, you got an Irelia in the game. As you mentioned, that Sejuani who wants to make stuff happen around the map with different melee picks and things like that. It's like there's of course going to be action in one of these lanes. It was top lane this time around, and it accelerates the game.
And you gave so many counter picks. Cody gets his Xayah again, and Lira gets his Skarner, which is, he keeps getting Skarner.
He can't keep getting away with this. He just can't.
I saw somebody on Twitter yesterday, like, giving flack to the Skarner pick.
Splice's coach.
Yeah, Splice's coach giving flack for the Skarner pick for Lira and the high priority of it by Clutch. But I'm like, but look at the win rate. And if it works for this team, then by all means should he play it every single game. And he's continuing to showcase why it's an important pick.
And we've talked about how different Clutch and CLG are. There's not a contested shared first pick that they're battling over that you're going to take away. So, like, maybe the Xayah, but they've already showed they don't care. So they just take it because it's Lira's best champion. and you're fine to just wait to see for counter picks. And that's what they're doing. So I think it's a totally fair strategy.
Okay.
And as well as the fact the pace of the game matched Clutch way better. That was a really scrappy, crazy game. Props for CLG for finding good plays.
Yeah.
But, you know, Clutch isn't scared. They're not gun shy. They're going to go fire right back.
But, you know, we were here just 2 weeks ago. Clutch Hub, super dismantling 2 games in a row. CLG now trying to pull out things out of the hat that they've never used before. So I'm expecting CLG to do that.
Yeah, I mean, if we take 2 weeks ago as an example, you would expect at this point, with no more losses to give, that CLG does the ultra return to standard for them.
I think they're doing that return before they get down, though, too, thinking, oh, let's play our comfort picks, the ones that I think we might be able to do well if we feel it, and we feel the Ziggs. And Ari was banned. Ari was banned in one of these games as well. So it's not like Clutch Gaming is not giving CLG the respect that they can bust out these wild picks. It's just that, you know, if you're somebody that's going to bust out a wild pick, 50% of the time, even more than that, it's going to fall flat.
To your point, there's 4 bans from Clutch on the mid lane, as well as the mid lane bans from CLG as well. And eventually you get to this where Clutch Gaming has all their comfort picks. They have Sylas, they have Irelia, and Huni absolutely pops off in this team fight.
Dude,
he had disgusting.
He had so many crazy plays this game. I actually loved watching him on Irelia, and I think CLG is definitely probably going to look to take that away or ban that out because he's been a monster.
Yeah, he was a big playmaker in this fight, but then we have to remember all of the side lane plays that were happening after this. Both Huni getting caught at times and giving CLG a couple good looks, but the amount of pressure he was able to draw to the bottom side of the map in 1v3s, 1v4s, even 1v5s and getting kills in it, I mean, it's insane.
It's so exciting. It's the old Huni glimpses of that peeking out, reminding us that it's still there. This is a player that if given the right circumstances, he will 1v5 like it happened.
Literally 1v5.
Yes.
Sometimes dying trying that, but you know, he's still creating a lot of pressure for the team and setting up, you know, these plays for them to go ahead and be able to win. He also has unique builds. The Death Dance second, 2 times in a row. First game, they were snowballing really hard. We're like, okay, it makes more sense. He was fed again this game, but we've been debating how good it is. But it does lead to a different play style where he has more autonomy, it feels like, to sustain up during a fight and things like that.
And I think something in there that I caught a little bit of your caution in talking about him in the side lanes there, because it is very much reminiscent of the way that they were playing after being up 2-0 the first time around. You're getting bits of that confidence creeping in, you know, that kind of allows Huni to say, like, I can make this play, but if made enough times and CLG actually snaps back on it, it could also swing the series the other way. So I think Clutch is, again, kind of towing that line of overconfidence.
That's the one thing. I don't want Huni to get too cocky. You know, he could 1v3, 1v4, 1v5 that game and get away with it, but he can't go into that in the next game. So hopefully they don't do that.
CLG back to blue side for game 3, and so we're kind of resetting ourselves to that first game of the day. Crumbs, give it to me. How does CLG extend the life of this series?
Don't get outdrafted. Just pick something that completely is outside of Clutch Gaming's wheelhouse. The Thresh was a really nice answer in the 3rd place matchup. The Ari as well. Just try something new altogether. It clearly isn't working. Clutch Gaming is very prepared, and they won't tilt, which is a big deal because they've been in the exact same situation before, so they need to spice things up.
It was Azir first pick in game 1 for the blue side CLG. What should they first pick instead this time around?
Not Azir.
Yeah, not Azir.
And not Ziggs. Not Azir and Ziggs.
Yeah, you got that from me. I like the idea that we're talking about with the Xayah potentially, but you have to figure out something to do differently with your solo lanes as well, because they're getting torn apart. They're not getting anything done on their own. So even if you fix the bot lane, you have to find a way to get an advantage in one of those 2 lanes as well on blue side.
Otherwise, it's more of the same for Clutch Gaming as they look to close this one out. Far more dominant than the first time around. Looking for that 3-0. We'll see if Clutch can complete the sweep when we return. See you soon.
Ruin cannot stay. But he almost gets knocked back. Damonte grabs the first kill. Vulcan now going to chase the rest of them. Vulcan gets the first kill. Biofrost goes down as well, and CLG thought they'd set it up so well.
Okay, let's start flash. We're a good spot. Go both side. Yeah. Sejuani no place. And then Xayah's here. We cannot get mid, it's a Ziggs, so.
Oh no, back in the turn. Hops on a PowerOfEvil. It just goes off on him. He's going to go into stasis. I think Clutch can clean it up. Here comes Vulcan. Zooms in with a quickness. Stixxay dead. They don't really have the damage here from PowerOfEvil. And Clutch still going. There's Cody in the back line. He's still trying to go for it. Goes in with a proto bounce. What a snipe. They take down the AD, they take down the defenders, and Clutch once again will find themselves up 2-0 over CLG.
I had a tournament in New York, and we got second in the world. So now I've taken another leap, which is to build my own company. My goal was to help other people who want to turn streaming into a career. The biggest thing you have to realize is it's a team game.